Hello. So I'm gonna just do a quick video that talks about like the progress that has been made in 1 month on this game, and then that way I'll sort of just have a history of this, and if anybody else is interested in seeing the progress as I go along, then they can find it here. So just quick setup. I have one client already running over here. The game server is running here, and eventually there won't be a visual for that, but it just makes sense to have the visual now because it's just more data for me when I'm working on it. So on the right over here, this is just what it looks like when you fire out the game. So I will log in as myself. And you can see that it populates with the current people that are already in the room. It pops me into other people's games, and now we're both present in the game server. And so the camera follows along. Some of the movement on the remote client can be jittery a little bit, especially in the air. But the dash dancing works pretty well. It's not perfect, but it does usually end up with pretty close to what you're doing. You can see, hopefully you can see, there's little numbers next to the characters' names, and that's the current level of the character. There's no character screen necessarily in the game, but if I just have like this shrine in the game, and if you go there, then you can spend the souls that you've got, which is just the term that I'm going with because that's how I tend to think about experience right now. We show the player's current souls up in the top left too, just super basic number. And so I have 3, but it costs 5 in order to level up or to increase another stat because I'm currently level 5. So it's just right now it's just a 1-to-1, like whatever level you are, it costs that much to go up a level. And at the moment, Faith doesn't actually do anything, just because there's nothing in the game that utilizes it, but Strength will increase the damage of your attacks, and Vitality will increase the amount of health that you have. So, and that will update, I'm pretty sure, if it'll update on both clients if you make a change. So the other thing that you can do is you can go through into a dungeon, and if there isn't one currently that your character is associated with, then it will fire up a game server for you. So you can now see that I'm here and the enemy's here, and on the other game server I've now left. So yeah, and if we go over here, my character's no longer in the room with this person. So you can go. We'll see how well the damage is working. It's been a little weird. Okay, so now you can see I've got 13 souls up here, and I can go back, and because the instance of the game is already running, it will just drop me back into there, which is really nice. And what just happened was that the game server for that dungeon closed down because there was nobody in it, so it just it takes care of itself, which is really, really nice. And the master server kit is what I'm using for all this stuff. It's just a Unity asset. It's worked really well. It took about a week to get it up and running and learning and getting everything switched over from Unity's like UNet, the network transform implementation, but it's working really well now. So yeah, with my 13 souls, I can come over here and even though it doesn't do anything, we'll just level up Faith twice. And you can see that now I'm level 7, and hopefully, yeah, so as you can see over here, well, hopefully that font's not too small, but I'm level 7 in that game as well, so that all just kind of updates pretty well. Yeah, the only other thing that I can show is that we do have a database that's holding on to all this information. So we have the users, so Binsu and Aria, and those are just associated with like my email and my wife's email, and the passwords are encoded. And then in the character information we store, which is based on it connects via the user ID. So you can see unspent souls. I have 2 unspent souls, which is right. 0 for Arya, which is good. You can see that I've changed my stats to 2, 2, 3, so that's all updated correctly. And if we go look at Arya's, if we look here, it's 1, 1, 1. So if we go look at Arya's stats, we should see 1, 1, 1, which is what we see. So that's the state of the game at the moment. The next things that I'll be working on are going to be adding a loot system so that if you go out and kill enemies, there's a chance that enemies will drop items and you'll be able to equip those to your character. Pretty standard loot stuff. Yeah, and then it'll be working on adding some visuals because it's super bland right now, just very generic prototyping stuff that's going on. So I'm really excited to get to just making it look a little bit better and having the items in there to add some amount of like things to do. The next step after that will actually be like the next big thing after the loot will be updating the enemy AI and making multiple enemies. So you'll be able to actually go out into a dungeon and fight interesting enemies and come back with souls and with cool items, and eventually you'll be able to increase the level of the dungeon itself, and then you can try to, that will lead to better loot as well. So that'll be kind of the game loop for the prototype, and yeah, and that's pretty much where it's at. So thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll be back in about a month with another one of these. Thanks for watching.